Welcome back to the internet today, and we are going to be reading some stories off of the ProRevenge board on Reddit. So this story is called Superior Officer Thinks He Can Change the Price. So this happened about 5 years ago when I worked in the military as an aircraft fabricator. As a workshop, we'd regularly help out people with our skills in exchange for alcohol, biscuits, or a cash donation for our barbecue fund. One day an officer came into the workshop in his beautiful classic Jaguar with a large dent in the passenger door. Turns out someone had opened their door into it at a local supermarket and driven off. Classic body repairs can run into the hundreds of pounds. It was a basic panel beating job, and my boss agreed that one of us would do it during our lunch break. He was also told that as someone was going to be doing it during their lunch, a crate of cider/beer would be more than sufficient. So lunchtime rolls around, my boss offered the job out to me and a colleague to go and do the job. The boss checks the work and says it's all good, and we reattach the door and crack on with the real jobs. About 2 hours later, there's a massive bang from the vehicle bay. My boss is shouting and we hear the car start and leave. The boss comes to see a sheet metal shop and apologizes to me and says he's wasted my lunch break for nothing and I could go home for the day. Normally I wouldn't argue with an early dart, but I had to ask him what he was talking about. Turns out that the officer came in to pay for the work, but instead of the crate of cider/beer my boss had told him to get, he bought a multi-pack of Jaffa cakes, opened them up, left one sleeve, and tried to walk away. He gets back to the bay and begins to open the door to leave, at which point my boss loses his mind. He grabs a dead blow hammer and put a dent in the back door. They have a shouting match for a while, and the officer leaves. The following day, my boss gets a visit from the station commander to discuss the incident. The three of them have a good long chat about it. The station commander sided with my boss and told the officer he would have to go to a civilian garage and have the repair work done, and he was not allowed back in the workshop unless he was an official business. So, TLDR, officer brings in a damaged car, attempts to underpay. Boss puts damage back with a hammer. Officer had to pay actual cash for the repair elsewhere. Well, it's kind of a funny thing to get revenge on over just a couple of snacks. But on to the second story. So this story is called Nice Guy Tries to Ruin Mine and My Coworker's Reputation After a Rejection. So I wasn't sure whether to post this here or on r/nice guys. However, I did get revenge, so I suppose it belongs here. So I start my new job, and in my line of work, everyone knows one another. It's a very small field to be in. That being said, it's not unusual to get transferred somewhere and be with people you worked with previously. My coworkers are pretty awesome, and we hit it off swimmingly. One coworker in particular, let's call him J.O. for jerk-off, took an interest in me. At first, he was just friendly, so I assumed that that's all he wanted. Long story short, he wanted more. I let him down gently and explained I don't date coworkers as it's unprofessional, and it could cause issues in the workplace if something were to happen between us. He was not happy with this and would constantly act passive-aggressive towards me. At one point I heard him loudly complain about being friend-zoned and how he was such a nice guy. He wasn't name-dropping me, but I knew he was referring to me because he was giving specific details about all the times we used to hang out together before I knew he liked me. I did call him out on this because it was incredibly childish. I had started dating someone during this time, and J.O. was not happy about this one bit. One evening he had found my significant other and I in a bar, and he starts trash-talking my boyfriend while he was standing right there. Neither of us were happy about this, and we promptly left to avoid the situation escalating as the J.O. was clearly too intoxicated to be reasoned with. Fast forward a few months, and J.O. gets transferred. J.O. was finally out of my life, and I was so happy that he wouldn't be around anymore. After a few weeks, I get a Facebook message from a friend of mine at the butt crack of dawn. The exchange went as follows. The friend says, "Hey, do you know a guy named J.O.?" I say, "Yeah, why?" He says, "Well, he works here now, and he's been telling everyone that you, him, and a female coworker would all have sex. He keeps saying that you would have threesomes and keeps telling people a whole bunch of nasty stuff. Just thought I'd let you know. Thanks, I'll deal with it." Now, one thing about my line of work being so small is that rumors spread like wildfire. Because of this, I was extremely upset. There are managers there that I will work under someday. There are employees there that I will have to interact with at some point. So the fact that J.O. has the gall to blatantly lie and tarnish not only my reputation, but the reputation of my other coworker is a big problem. These people know my name, and as soon as they see my paperwork cross their desk someday, they will already have preconceived notions about what type of person I am. And this wasn't the first time he's done this to a female coworker either. So the revenge plot began. Another coworker of mine had lent J.O. a spiral notebook a few months prior, and when he gave it back to him, J.O. forgot to remove the 6-page handwritten "Please take me back" letter he had written to his girlfriend. My coworker and I laughed about it because it was just so sad and pathetic. The paper was warped from where he had cried on the pages and everything, so I had asked some coworker if he still had it, and Lord have mercy, he did. Jackpot. He asked why I wanted it, so I gave him a quick rundown of the situation, and you could just see his inner demon pop out. I took the letter and pinned it to the company notice board. Now, when something is put on the notice board, everyone in the workplace has to put their signatures on it to ensure that it has been read and understood. This is to ensure that there is no "I didn't know" excuse when something comes up. And when I say everyone has to sign this, I mean everyone. Employees, managers, upper management. The only person who knew I stuck the letter up there was the coworker I had gotten it from. So I let it sit there all day and watched people read it, laugh their butts off, and sign it. Nobody asked any questions about it. When it had amassed the signatures of everyone, I took a picture of it. Every page of the letter and the signatures. I sent it to J.O. with a simple, "I know what you've been saying." Then I waited. A few hours later, my phone starts to absolutely blow up with messages from him. He called me all sorts of horrible names, kept saying how terrible of a person I was, that I was going to burn in hell, all that fun stuff, and then I was promptly blocked. J.O. has never harassed me or my friends since. I did find out, though, that he did end up getting fired later from too many HR complaints. Guess his creepy ways caught up to him. So, TLDR, nice guys spread horrible rumors, I air out his dirty laundry. Yeah, it's pretty satisfying when you get somebody who just gets what they deserve sometimes. And on to the third story. This one is called The Mailbox Basher Revenge. So, fresh out of high school, I worked with an older gentleman at an appliance repair shop. He had a problem with someone else driving through his sleepy rural subdivision at night running over mailboxes. There were no curbs or ditches, so the vandals could easily just drive down the side of the road and hit the mailboxes square on with the front bumper. This was happening regularly, and before the age of cheap security cameras, catching them wasn't possible without physically sitting outside and waiting. Being a rural county, the sheriff department had better things to do. After replacing his mailbox post several times, it was time for drastic measures. He went to a local machine shop and bought an 8-foot length of rusty 3-inch solid shaft stock out of the scrap pile, pulled the broken 4x4 post out of the ground, and sank his shaft 5 feet deep into a 12-inch diameter hole filled with concrete. With help, obviously. A plate was welded to the top for mounting the mailbox. Then, a friend who was a finished carpenter clad the whole thing in wood to make it look like an ordinary mailbox post. All was quiet for a couple weeks, but then one Sunday morning my friend gets up and walks out to get the paper and sees wood shards, grill, and headlight pieces surrounding the still-standing mailbox with antifreeze soaked into the dirt. The morons had hit the previous 6 mailboxes leading up to his as well. Never caught the vandals, but he knows they were driving a Volvo, and it never happened again. Well, that about does it for this video on r/ProRevenge. If there's any other subreddits or categories you want me to look into, just let me know, and I will talk to you guys next time.